So the world is kind of being taken over by these what are called NGOs. They're non-government organizations. And so really it's the UN, which I'm sure everybody's heard of, I just mentioned. And then we have the World Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, and the IMF. And so these are unelected officials that are literally running the world, right? So the World Economic Forum has this event planned for next year. They're calling it the Great Reset. And again, it's not conspiracy. I encourage everyone to go right to the website.
I'll link it below too.
worldeconomicforum.com/Great Reset. And they basically are telling us what they are trying to do. They leave some up for opinion, obviously. But their slogan is basically by 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, right? So, okay, well, some people want to debate what that means. And so there's a little bit left for opinion there. But some of the people that work for the WF, so you can go onto their website, and there's like several blog articles that have been written that really talk about what that vision is. And when you read it, it's chilling, man. It's chilling.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of something almost like conspiratorial. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm glad that you said throughout that, like, this isn't conspiracy. Go to the website, check the fact. How do you justify this, like when you talk to people and when you do your research for your videos, to not get into that conspiracy theory stuff? Like, how do you explain it to people that, no, this is real? Like, these are people that are I'm sure they're paying for their position in that think tank or in that group or whatever it may be. Because like you said, they're not elected. So these are people that are paying their way in there, most likely, or getting put there for a reason. So it looks conspiratorial. You know what I mean? So it's hard, I think, to walk that line.
So yesterday I listened to this podcast it was actually the Mike Dillard podcast, and it was an episode on NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming.
Yep.
So all marketers use NLP. Tony Robbins is really big on NLP, and it's a way that you use words to program people, and you basically go past the conscious mind, and it goes directly into the subconscious. Right. So I know about NLP. I've been studying marketing in this for a long time, right? Well, what was interesting is this was a podcast talking about NLP specifically, and what they're talking about is how the media is using NLP to program people. And so what it does, and you wonder why like half the people are out of their minds with, you're not wearing a mask, you're killing people. Like, where do they get that from? Donald Trump's a racist. Really?
The media.
So I know it's easy to say that, but the way that they're doing it is they're using NLP, and people are literally hypnotized to believe this. Like they're brainwashed, right? So anyway, I say that just because we have to be aware of that. That's the first step. But when you talk about the conspiracy, even that itself is also is NLP. So the CIA came up with that term, right?
Right. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yep.
And so, that must be conspiracy. Well, do you understand what the definition of the word conspiracy
No, people
is?
don't. They don't.
It's two or more people conspiring to do something, behind the back of somebody else. And I would argue that happens millions of times every single day. Me and my wife conspire against our kids all the time.
All the time.
Me and my wife are always conspiring. I mean, two people are always getting together to agree. So like the very definition of the word, what does that mean? Do you believe there's two people in the World Economic Forum that are planning to do? I mean, of course there are. So the word is
so it's like the word conspiracy theory, that idea created by the CIA, like you're saying, which we know is true. It uses that NLP to penetrate deeper, and like already that word has a stigma to it that it isn't actually what it means. What were you going to say, Matt?
I was going to say that Mark brought up the brainwash thing and the conspiracy thing. So, and he did touch on the CIA, how they are the one who actually brought that word about. And it was after the JFK assassination, right?
Right.
So now if you jump back to the 90s, and Mark was talking about NLP, there was a Russian group, I believe it was like KGB or something like that. And it's exactly what Mark was saying, how if they bombard the brain enough with the same messages, even if the messages are saying like bananas are blue, if you bombard that message long enough and enough, eventually when you bombard the person with the fact, they will disregard that as fact and believe bananas are blue. And that's where we are in today's age. We have an era where everybody is just completely bombarded with messages. Let's say you don't watch TV. It doesn't matter. You have a TV in your pocket. You have a TV every time you look at your screen, and it's always being bombarded with messages. And then the algorithm will pick up and give you messages that, help you believe what you already are.
But even the wording in those messages is going to be built to go deeper than what you're thinking it's going to do.